Excellencies, thank you. Excellencies, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon to you all. It is indeed my honor to welcome you to the opening ceremony of the United Nations Biodiversity Conference. The moment we have all been waiting and eagerly is finally here with us. But before we begin, I would like to respectfully acknowledge that we are here on an unceded territory of the Kanien'kehá:ka Mohawk people. It is therefore now my privilege to introduce our first speaker today, Tado Da Ho, Sydney Hill. Tado Da Ho, Sydney Hill is a traditional leader of the Haudenosaunee Confederacy, which includes Kanien'kehá:ka, the nation, as well as the Oneida, Onondaga, Cayuga, Seneca, and the Tuscarora nations. Tado Da Ho Hill, the floor is yours.
My name is Tado Da Ho, the chief of the Onondaga Nation, one of the 6 nations of the Haudenosaunee, which includes the Mohawk, Oneida, Cayuga, Onondaga, Seneca, and Tuscarora nations. This land is part of the homelands of our nations, and particularly the Mohawk. We also recognize that this has long served as the site of meeting and exchange amongst many First Nations, including the Huron, Wendat, Abenaki, and Anishinaabe. Kanien'kehá:ka, also known as Mohawk, are traditional custodians of the lands and waters on which we meet today. Following is a speech used to start all our meetings from time immemorial and is known as the words that come before all else. This presentation will be done in my language, Onondaga. Wadahunsi yostakin johkwa. Na ya sungwawi ne sungwai disai sat niungwai ho tank. Na ne hadik no niungwetage skata ne niondega. Na go and wadi yahta ne kanahanya. I dit nagan gai hundahwa to know and gatugohta ne lahanda gai hodekwe. Na go ya Tony window there, 21 takes it there, ne scanner eye to an Antonio hick. Na go ya. Ni dion gwetege ungwayusi ne tona skado han toa gwatni go ha itan do dia ta tan do dat no ha tane to di ne tekton gwatni go ha and down na ya ta ha wan jada di na ne tino ha di tino hankpa to no yan twasi ta ni o I ungwai tegen hasa to no di ungwai wa ha de ne ungwatni go hi ostakwi and down na ne na ne watawi kai so ko di wate and dechti sa no ni sa go we honda dana di with what the no nya skada han do what ni go ha what the tino ha tino ha sa when jade dana to di ne tek on go ni go ha and dana what the tino ha ne go e go da ha da na ne sung go ha di sa mai scan on to no junior to now when jage and jung go the way na ne we ho wa ne sa no ni ho en twasi I own it to Sokot Guy again Hassa and you can joke Quagi. And then I did with what the Nunya, Skada and Doa, what go ha, o de tino ha ni agwege wadan hain dan han sungwai di sai dane to di ne ha tek tong gwat ni go ha and dana net sat di o wa ye na ne onki o huista yo stakwi na ye onki a to yanik na ne gen de o twe no ni ai e o a da ho wi ne gen ne skana at ka du na ye to ha ko ne don da ko ne to di o wa ye dana di with what they know nya skade han do ai gwat ni go ha o de tino ha net sat di o wa ye dane to di ne o tek tong gwat ni go ha and dana hoi waka shungoi na negasa go wi ho tunyo nanga wi ho wane and hona di hunda so go wi waka nistni and dio tan di ne eti soda had wana doing this he kai kwan sagot ne tani takwa and dana o ne said wachi a in the kaka kwa na e kwa to na eti soda sumu kaka kwa and dana to yeti atania but just no kwine and I ne we ho wane sa no ni hona di hunda and I did what was on you sa aso hona di ho de ndi sa no ni hona di hunda sa kan yade and da I did with what de no nya skade han do gwat ni go ha what di tino ha ne agwege ne aso hona di ho de ndi sa no ni hona di hunda sa kan yade ane to di ne o tek tong gwat ni go ha and dana so go ya ta go ne ka ye nyung gwe te ke ti yung kian ya da to no to stand you sa no to nak ti sa e ti sak do no ndia sa hai na ta na ya wa hat to ga ya to ya na ya go ya ta gon di on do wa ye sa o man ja de ai se de o de ni da na ya so go ya da go ne ka ye nyung gwe te ke ti yung kian ya do ne a kui aga se man ha ya go di ye and dan o ne o de to wa shu ne ga ni go ha ke so and I ne o wi ho wa ne sa no ni hona di hunda and I did o do was honya ta aso hona di ho de je sa no ni hona di hunda dan I did with what de no nya skade han do ha gwat ne go ha o de tino ha ne ka e nyung kwet te ke yung kian ya do dan te di ne ha tek tong gwat ne go ha and dan ne sa ni ho ye na e sa ka hin ta ne kai ho ne ya go sa na e ya tes ho ya to be ta go na e ha we na o yu na hun sa go do na ta sa nyon ne ke ne ha ndo ga wi ta na ya wa ya ta go ne se do ko wa na ne skan ya ta yo da na ti wo do de no nya ska de hen do ai go ne go ha ba se do no ha ne se do ko wa na ne skan ya ta yo da ne ti ne te tong go ne go ha da na sa ni ho ya si ne sun go ai ti sa nai away awen ja ke dun sa go and then so na ha to no ha chu gok tak kwa sa no tok nak ti sa and nai ya de to tok tak kwa when the day ni was son the day ni ho sa ti ha de ne kan wan kwa sa and nai sung go da syo ne jong go ho ne sung go awen ne ane ada te wa ti and I did what do so ni sa ason sung go na wan kwa and da nai di what de no nya skade han do ai gwat ne go ha o set wa no ha ne kain nya ke hana ge ne sung ba di sa da ne to di ne tek tong go ne go ha da ne to yon ne ga wo ga ti hot ko ne kan na ha nya da ne to ya wa
Thank you, Tado Da Ho Sid Hill, for your inspiring words. Just for a second, let us, by a clap of only three, thank the Government of Canada, Government of Quebec, people of Montreal, City of Montreal, for welcoming us all in this beautiful venue in this city. Clap of three only. Thank you very much. It is now my sincere honor to welcome on stage the Right Honorable Justin Trudeau, Prime Minister of Canada, to address us. Welcome, sir. The stage is yours.
Thank you, Tadodaho Hill. Before I start, I want to recognize that as we gather here to mark a milestone for nature, we also together remember a terrible moment for this city. Il y a 33 ans aujourd'hui, à l'École polytechnique de Montréal, 14 femmes ont été assassinées dans un attentat antiféministe. Geneviève Bergeron, Hélène Colgan, Nathalie Croteau et Barbara Daigneault, Anne-Marie Édouard, Maude Aviernick, Maryse Lagagnère, Maryse Leclerc et Anne-Marie Lemay, Sonia Pelletier, Michel Richard, Annie Saint-Arnaud, Annie Turcotte et Barbara Kluchnik. Ensemble, on se souvient d'elles et on continue de travailler pour éliminer la violence fondée sur le sexe. We remember them, we will continue to honor them and end gender-based violence, which continues to happen, as we tragically saw yet again this week in Manitoba. Aujourd'hui, on accueille le monde entier, ici à Montréal, ici au Canada. Notre pays représente bien des choses à travers le monde. À chaque jour, on travaille fort pour être un exemple d'ouverture et de diversité. On a des athlètes et des artistes qui s'illustrent sur la scène internationale. On a des travailleurs et des scientifiques qui nous permettent d'innover et d'avancer. Mais surtout, quand on pense au Canada à travers le monde, on pense à nos paysages et à toute la richesse de notre nature. Le Canada, c'est l'Atlantique et la vallée du Saint-Laurent. Canada is the Rockies in the west with their magnificent snow-capped peaks. The Arctic in the north, vast and filled with unexpected life. As you can also see, Canada is a place of free expression, where individuals and communities are free to express themselves openly and strongly. And we thank them for sharing their perspectives. Merci beaucoup. Merci d'être ici. Being a democracy doesn't mean we all agree. It means we all work together, we all listen to each other, we all respect each other, and that's how we move forward on doing the most important thing in front of us, which is protecting nature. And that's why we're gathered here today. As I was saying, Canada is many different things. The Arctic in the north, vast and full of unexpected life. The ancient forests of British Columbia and the maple trees of Quebec, between which you find the living skies of the prairies. Nature is a part of who we are, and we're here today at COP15 to make sure it remains part of who we will be for generations to come. I don't have to tell any of you here this afternoon that nature is under threat. In fact, it's under attack. I've been speaking for just a few moments so far, but in these couple of moments, we've lost globally as much as 136 soccer fields worth of trees. And that's just one example. The job we're doing as a world just isn't good enough. It's as simple as that. Canada stepped up on just a few months' notice to have this Nature COP held here in Montreal so that together we find solutions. The clock is ticking, and we knew this conference couldn't wait until some other time. On est devant une crise de la biodiversité. C'est une crise qui est aussi réelle et dangereuse que la crise climatique. C'est un enjeu majeur qui ne peut pas être relégué au second plan, parce qu'on est tous liés à la nature. Nos villes ont besoin d'eau propre et nos fermes ont besoin d'abeilles. Les marais protègent nos communautés contre les inondations et des dizaines de milliers de milliards de dollars de l'économie mondiale dépendent de la nature. Il faut agir dès maintenant. Pour notre part, le Canada fait des progrès comme jamais auparavant dans son engagement à protéger 25% de nos terres et 25% de nos cours d'eau d'ici 2025 et 30% d'ici 2030. Et on n'a pas choisi ce 30% au hasard. Selon les plus grands scientifiques, c'est le seuil critique pour, d'une part, éviter les risques d'extinction et aussi assurer notre sécurité, entre autres alimentaire et économique. Et 30%, c'est tout à fait faisable. Au Canada, on a fait passer la superficie de zones marines et côtières protégées de moins de 1% en 2015 à plus de 14% aujourd'hui. En même temps, on a aussi protégé des centaines de milliers de kilomètres carrés de territoire qui équivalent, pour vous donner une idée, à la taille de l'Italie. Et quand des grands pays comme le Canada se mobilisent, ça change vraiment les choses. As we make historic progress on our commitment to protect 30% of our land and waters by 2030 in Canada, we're also protecting iconic species, from the western bumblebee to orcas. And we're doing all this work in partnership with Indigenous peoples. You see, in some ways, Canada is a young country at only 155. But, of course, we recognize and embrace that Indigenous peoples have lived on and cared for these lands since time immemorial. All of our work on protecting nature must be reflective of Indigenous ways of knowing and being, and in true partnership in order to advance our shared journey of reconciliation. Progress, protection, and partnership. That's what we're focused on delivering. And tomorrow I'll be talking about some of what's next for Canada. But we're gathered today because this isn't work we or any one country can do alone. The world's 5 biggest countries, Russia, Canada, and China, the 2 countries involved in hosting this meeting, the US, and Brazil, represent over 50% of the world's forests. Canada has the world's longest coastline. Russia has the world's largest boreal forest. And the world's largest wetland, the Pantanal, is primarily in Brazil. That's a big responsibility for big countries. And progress is being made, no doubt. But of the world's 5 biggest countries, none of us is yet at 30% of both our land and waters protected. Now, we don't have to get all the way there by tomorrow, but by 2030, we all really do. By 2030, we must halt and reverse biodiversity loss. And a key part of doing that is protecting 30% of the world's land and waters. Every leader must be telling their negotiators to bring this ambition to the table as we reach a final framework here over the next 2 weeks. For our part, today I can share that in our role as host location, Canada is committing another $350 million in international biodiversity finance. C'est 350 millions de dollars en argent neuf qui seront investis dans le financement international pour la biodiversité s'ajoutent à la somme de plus de 1 milliard de dollars qu'on a déjà promise pour lutter contre les effets des changements climatiques sur la perte de la biodiversité. Le ministre Guilbeault va vous en dire plus là-dessus, mais l'essentiel, c'est qu'on continue d'agir à l'échelle internationale. Mes amis, on va tous travailler ensemble pendant le sommet et on doit atteindre des résultats. Nos citoyens comptent sur nous. Des citoyens comme Jean-Marc, qui m'a écrit par l'entremise de Nature Canada. Jean-Marc vit à quelques heures d'ici, à Gatineau. Il m'a dit qu'il compte sur nous pour être des leaders en matière de biodiversité, par exemple pour protéger les oiseaux, parce que ça lui tient à cœur. I also got a letter from a young woman, Maria, on Canada's west coast, who said that we need to act right now to protect our wilderness and ecosystems. Jean-Marc and Maria are right. Canada is welcoming you here because we expect action. We're challenging ourselves and we're challenging you. Now, there are lots of disagreements between governments. But if we can't agree as a world on something as fundamental as protecting nature, well, nothing else matters. Until we agree that we should stop species from going extinct, until we agree that our water should be clean and our air should be clean, until we agree that it matters that forests, grasslands, jungles endure, we cannot guarantee a future for our kids. Ce n'est pas le temps de se demander si on devrait agir ou si on devrait être ambitieux. C'est le temps de dire comment on va le faire. On a une planète magnifique et remarquable et c'est le temps de se concentrer sur ce qu'on va accomplir ensemble pour assurer son avenir. Merci beaucoup tout le monde.